What's up, Flappers? So you see the title and thumbnail in this video, and you might be wondering, Walrus, what's this all about? Why are you telling us don't pull for Yae Miko, or maybe skip Yae Miko? Now here's the thing, people. After taking a closer look at this character, I do want to let you guys understand that currently Yae Miko just seems like she is not a complete character, and at C0 especially, she lacks a definitive role. Now, of course, all this does change as you approach C6, right? Yae Miko at C6 is a very different character than she is at C0. Point in case being that at C6, you can simply drop 3 elemental skills, get your ass off the field to not hog any more field time for the rest of your carries. Of course, let me preface this. You love this character, love her to death, she's adorable, pull her. Doesn't matter what I say, just pull her, get her, play her. C0 doesn't matter, C1, C2, or C6. But let me just tell you guys what's been going on with this character, right? Within the speedrunners community, with all the testers and stuff, I've been talking to a lot of people who have been able to get their hands on C6 R5 Yae Miko's, and they're telling me, Walrus, this character completely is reshaped, redefined into a new role, a more definitive role, a role that has clarity as opposed to this muddy messiness that is her C0. Even C0 R1 Yae Miko players are saying this character feels like she's a burst support. She just hogs way too much field time, and the damage she outputs is a little bit better than a C6 official. And of course, there are other people who are also saying, Walrus, my C6 official out DPSs my C0 Yae Miko with R1. And both of these parties have their point, but I do feel like currently nobody really knows what to do with a C0 Yae Miko. You want to say she's your support DPS that provides additional damage on top of your main DPS, this layering of damage of sorts, right? That's not quite true, because you need her to be on field using her burst to proc her elemental skills so you can reset her elemental skills. Does that sound like a support DPS to you? That by definition sounds like a burst support, a character who needs to be on field utilizing their burst skill to support damage for your team, to fill downtime with large amounts of instantaneous damage, right? So by that definition, Yae Miko is not a support DPS, she's a burst support. Then at the same time, you want to say she's a burst support, but she's a burst support with 90 cost burst and a 22-second cooldown. What kind of burst support has that? And let me just one more layer on top, she's also an electro character. So you want to say like, oh well, you know, it doesn't matter, right? 22 seconds, no problem, we'll just utilize reactions to pump those rookie numbers all the way up through the stratosphere. But oh wait, what reactions can you realistically do with electro to skyrocket the multipliers here? Yeah, right. Although you guys see the huge scaling potential of her burst skill, what we are not talking about is the consistency and the uptime of this burst damage. Let's say if it's like 16 seconds or 15 seconds cooldown, we can jack her energy regen all the way up, and yeah, then it makes sense. Currently, I can rotate through 2 burst skills for certain characters, and of course, 1 isn't enough to match Yae Miko's damage output, but give me 2 of most characters' burst skill windows, easily can match Yae Miko's damage output, which begs the question, right? What is miHoYo's goal in designing Yae Miko at C0? What are they trying to accomplish with this character? Please comment down below. Let's just play a little game here, right? Like, can you guys guess why miHoYo made Yae Miko in this awkward position where she not only does not fulfill a definitive role, she also doesn't have an artifact set for her, but also locked a lot of her true potential behind not C1, not C2, but C6. You guys know her C6 is ignoring defense. It's the same as Raiden Shogun's C2. And this, people have been saying this, and I don't know if you guys know this, but just sharing with you, this constellation is slightly different from straight up defense shred. Defense ignore will scale with the enemy's defense. So for example, if enemy's defense gets buffed or increases during the fight of some sort, you also scale up with it. So it's not like a lot of other characters' constellations. So people have been asking me like, Walrus, you know, I really think miHoYo messed up. Why would they put a constellation like this at Yae Miko C6, right? And I keep telling them it's multiplicative, it's not additive, and they seem to not understand the concept. Comment down below if you guys understand this. If you guys don't understand what I mean by this, I can talk about it in a future video in more detail, but I don't want to waste the time here. I just let you guys know Raiden Shogun and Yae Miko C6 is a multiplicative process that ignores enemies' defense regardless of how it scales, whereas a lot of other defense shredding constellations are additive. All right, so let's move on. Yae Miko C6 allows her to truly play as a support DPS in the sense that you play her kind of like you would play Albedo. You drop 3 elemental skills and then you get the hell off. You don't need to use your burst. In fact, oftentimes you would actually lose out on damage if you were to use your burst. Don't believe me, right? You guys think I'm freaking crazy by saying that. No, the damage truly doesn't work out that way. And granted, it is a little biased because the person who provided this is a Giga Whale, so he does run a C6 main DPS. So for a lot of people who are small spenders and C6 Yae Miko is all you get, yeah, of course, the burst skill is gonna fulfill a lot of damage within the window, probably more than your main DPS as well. But for people who are running double C6, so you have a C6 main DPS, C6 Yae Miko's burst skill doesn't really fulfill enough to justify her being on the field over your main DPS. So a character whose constellation I really want to compare Yae Miko with is actually Tartaglia. So this hopefully helps you guys understand what I'm talking about. Tartaglia C6 completely revolutionizes the way that he is played. He goes from being a more hydro applicator to an on-field hydro main DPS. It's the same as Yae Miko. At C0, she's more of a burst support who is forced into this particular playstyle that feels very awkward. However, as you progress towards C6 and hit that C6, it completely changes her playstyle and opens her up to a new playstyle, which is a true raw support DPS, which can deal up to 30,000 per tick of electro with her elemental skill alone. That's right, you did not mishear me. 30,000 per tick. That is some insane numbers that we're witnessing here. But you see, in the process, it does make her C1 a little less, you know, useful. Hey, who does that sound like, right? Tartaglia. Once you get Tartaglia C6, is C1 essentially becomes useless. So I guess Yae Miko is not completely useless. It's just somewhat not as useful. Alright, so here's the thing. Yae Miko will be guaranteed to get an artifact set, and I'm willing to bet that this new artifact set is going to help out not just Yae Miko, probably some other Electro characters. Hopefully our waifu Keqing is going to get a facelift as well. One can no hope. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to come next patch, because next patch most likely we are going to get a new artifact set. But who is it for? I don't know, maybe somebody else who has been waiting in line for like over a year now. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. One can hope. I don't think it's Yae Miko's turn. There is someone else who is in dire need of their dedicated artifact set, and should I spell it out for you guys? Maybe you guys already know who I'm referring to. So that means another 2 patches from patch 2.7, which is 2.9. Now, do you guys really think there's going to be a patch 2.9? I don't know. Comment down below. But if there is a 2.9, that's where likely Yae Miko's artifact set is going to come through. So we're talking like 3 patches from now, people, right? Why don't you guys just wait for the rerun? That's why I'm telling you guys in the title, in the thumbnail, maybe you guys should wait on pulling your Yae Mikos. Of course, if you're looking for a strong character, you already left this discussion ages ago. But even if you're waiting for your waifu, listen, she's gonna come back. She's gonna come back in a couple months. 3 patches, that's a lot of banners. Cycling with the double banners nowadays, I anticipate she'll be back with 3 patches, 4 patches. She'll get her dedicated artifact set. You'll be much more prepared. Currently, right now, Kazuha's coming, Ayaka's coming. These are some really great characters. I don't want people to miss out on the potential of picking one up just to pick up a Yae Miko, who just happens to not function as fluidly as a lot of these other characters are, right? Of course, with Dendro coming in, it could completely change how Electro is played. So hopefully by 2.9, it's going to be 3.0. Then Sumeru comes along, introduces Dendro, might completely change the way we play with Electro, right? People, we gotta stay active for this kind of stuff. So hopefully this video has helped you guys understand where I currently stand when it comes to whether you should be playing Yae Miko. I really think most people should be skipping her, and that's my final verdict. C0, she's very awkward. Maybe her artifact set will fix this, but C6, she's a great character, very solid, and just as powerful as most other C6 characters. But unfortunately, most of us aren't getting her to C6. With that said, comment down below what you think. Are you pulling for her regardless? Are you skipping her? Keyword of the day is drip, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, urge y'all to stay safe and peace.